All right, welcome back to another episode of Usapang Musiko. And we are back again in this rainy afternoon. No, I hope everyone's dry. If you are on the road, have a safe drive or safe commute wherever you are going. All right. So for today's video, we are talking about pricing, no? So it's a big gray area when it comes to musicians. How much you would charge, uh, how high you can go or how low you can go, and what the value is really of charging a certain price. No, we'll talk about that. Not just in performance, but also when you are teaching, when you are, doing recordings, when you are uh, arranging pieces, or everything that is related to music. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. You could also share your insights or inputs down in the comment section. We'll try to uh, flash it on the screen and maybe talk about your own inputs. Okay. So, first, when we talk about pricing, I think a lot of people, especially in the gig industry, events like that, are trying to push for equal pay, sort of something like that. Like, there should be standardized pay uh, for musicians. But to be honest, that will never work because again, we as an industry do not really have something that is really standardized because our products are very much subjective, no? Like for example, a painting can go as high as, as anyone is willing to pay for it. The same thing goes with music. Uh, your perceived value is how people perceive your value. No, it's not like you could demand a certain value and everyone would just follow it. No, of course, you, as we have this saying, as the saying goes nga, diba? That you're only as good as your last performance. So sometimes your perceived value will be based on how well you are performing, uh, also based on your following, no? And also on the amount of time you need in order for you to uh render that service for the craft, no? So when you're an event musician, let's say you play for weddings and all those types of gigs, technically people are not paying for your music only. Technically they're not paying you for your music. What they're paying you is your time, effort, and let's say your gear that you bring around. No, they can't pay you for your music because that is pretty subjective. No, people will pay high amounts to have someone perform for them. People would not pay as well. For some people, music is not that important, let's say. No, so it really depends on you and your client. No, so it's really a gray area of how much you could charge, 'di ba? It depends on so many factors. That's why pricing can be different. But I think you will always get what you pay for, no, to be honest. Uh if you don't pay correctly, you'll get musicians that might not exceed your expectations or might not be as qualified or as good as you want them to be. So I think for events, I mean everything, no? Arrangements, songs, recordings, even teaching, you will always get what you pay for. Because again, pricing is always subjective, not just to the client, but also to the person who renders that service, no? So some people think na, let's say for transcription, music transcriptions, no? Some people think that 100 pesos a page is enough, no? Some people think that it's too low. And some people, even at that rate, would ask for discounts. You see? So you can target all clients. No? You would have to, as a musician, as a freelance artist, or in whatever a project that you are doing, you have to target your specific niche or specific market. No? And of course, you have to understand that your skills are what gives you the opportunity to do these things. No, if you are really good at something, you could charge a lot higher than someone else. No, for example, if I could transcribe a piece in, let's say, in 2 or 3 days, no, a complex piece, if I can transcribe it in 2 or 3 days, I can charge higher than someone who will transcribe the same piece in, let's say, a week or two, right? Because I already have that skill. I know what I'm capable of, and I could demand, no? And if people do not like that pricing that you set for yourself, they could always find someone else, no? And you shouldn't worry about that because you know how much time you're willing to sacrifice to get paid, no? So it's never really a loss for you if, for example, you value your time, like you value your time, you have a specific rate in your head that you won't go down for that, then stick with it. No, it's never a loss if you will get something that is lower. That's why you can't really standardize anything, because there's always pros and cons with services that you render. No, for example, if you can arrange a song for like $20 or $25, and someone could arrange it for 50, that's not really your problem na. No, you could adjust your rates, but if your rates and the skills that you have do not match, that will be a problem. So you have to understand how things work out for you and how things will work out for other people as well. No? So I'm not saying that it's bad for people to charge lower, but if your competition is charging lower than you, but when you go down that rate as well and you feel like it's not enough, don't do it, no? Because there will always be a market for the rate uh that you have. No? You don't need to go lower, because the lower your rates are you really going to be as uh are you really going to give as much effort, especially if you already have like a clientele that pays you a certain rate? Would you charge lower than that? Diba? And again, for example, for teaching, for example, there are people who charge, like I see on YouTube that and even on Facebook ads, like they charge 200 pesos per hour, 500 pesos per hour, or even lower sometimes, no? But will you really get uh the same training if you go to a teacher that charges a little bit higher, let's say 1,000 pesos, 1,500? Will you still get the same amount of knowledge and information and guidance? I think not, right? And people tend to gravitate towards what's cheap. But at the end of the day, not everything that's cheap is really cheap, you know? If you're gonna study, for example, for someone who's just starting out, I mean, I'm not trying to, to spark a war or something like that. But if someone is charging that low, maybe you should check qualifications, for example, right? Because if they're charging that low, it means that their perceived value of themselves as well is a little bit lower. So will you still get the same amount of training, same amount of value from someone who will charge you lower? So you have to also put that into consideration. Because again, that's why we can charge a standard rate. It's because the perceived value and the value that you are getting for whatever you're paying for cannot be measured exactly, cannot be quantified. Diba? It's very subjective. It's very, very much the quality of something that is very, very much intangible. No, you can't see it, you can't feel it, but the knowledge being transferred or passed on to you, you can't really uh, put an exact price on it. No, but you could charge whatever you want as long as you can justify it. Justify it in a sense that it fulfills your need, especially if this is your full time work. Of course, you can't just be charging the lowest rates possible. You have to eat, no? Especially uh, a freelance musician. No, you only have so much time in your hands, especially if this is the only thing that you do. So if you charge lower, you have to work more hours. But if you charge adequately enough, you can work, you can balance your work and your life, you know. Work life balance is still important. Because if you're charging at an adequate rate, keep your lights on, no, a roof over your head, you can eat properly. If you can charge it that way, that would be much much better on you. Plus your value will always go up. No? The more your skill develops, the higher chances of you charging a little bit higher than the of a premium. No, so it really boils down to what you can offer. That's why you have to always sharpen that knife. No, you always have to make sure your skills are growing and that you could provide better, better and better value than other people, no, other uh, musicians. But I don't think it's really a competition between those two. No, if people want to settle for something that they can afford, let's say that's the only thing they can afford. That's okay. It's not. It just means that it's not your market. It means that the client, is not really your target market. Because if you will lower down your rates and then that rate won't cover expenses that you are incurring. Let's say if you're teaching online, internet cost, electricity bills, food, rent. If that doesn't cover your expenses, but going down, lowering down your rates just to get clients won't really do you any good. No? So it's better to just move on to the next. No, people will come as long as they can see value in what you are doing. No? Same thing as how art is priced. Sometimes it's just because of the name or something like that. But if you're selling it, diba, you dictate the price. No? Like for example, if I'm selling my arrangements, I can dictate the price of my arrangements. If people are buying my arrangement at a certain price, I would sell it at that price. If people think that it's too expensive, then maybe they could find other arrangements or other transcriptions. No, if people think that your rates for your gigs or events are a little bit too high, maybe they're not the ones you should be targeting. No, it's okay to say no because at the end of the day, it's your time that matters most as a musician, as an artist, no, as a human being. You have to value whatever your service you're rendering. Because again, if you're doing this freelance, it's always no work, no pay, right? And if people can't see that, that this is a real job, no? I mean, it's already 2020, but some people still find what we're doing as a hobby lang, no? That you don't need to eat, no? Because some people still, offer like gigs that are free, And it's quite sad that we're still seeing that. And some people are still taking that because they have this idea that if we do it for free, maybe someone will discover us. No. But at this age where everything can be seen on the internet, I think it's time to actually take pride in your work and get paid what you're due, because at the end of the day those people are not the ones who are gonna suffer if you don't get paid. It's you. It's your livelihood. No, the same way doctors do operations or do consultations, where we this is our livelihood. This is the way we earn, the way we are able to sustain what we are doing, because music is really important naman eh. Diba? All the arts are important. And if the industry is still the same, what can you do, right? So you have to be the one to start it on your own, no? Uh, be able to really give value to your clients, no? And if your clients feel that your rates are too high, maybe yeah, you also need to do assessments. But I think you know your perceived value. No? And if some people are willing to pay you in what you're doing, stick with those people. And those people who don't want to pay you with what you're doing, maybe they're not supposed to be there for you, right? So pricing can never be standardized, no? Because for example, for music producers, like a song can range for like 500 to, I don't know, 50,000 per song, right? People will pay a certain producer to produce a song for them, right? Even bands, right? Some bands charge over 1 million pesos for a gig, no? Because they also have bills to pay. Plus, they have the following to back it up. So it's really dependent on your perceived value, how you price your services, how you price your products, no? Because you also have products like beats, songs, compositions, let's say arrangements, transcriptions. All of those are products that you have that if people won't pay, then maybe it's better not to render that service. Or if people are trying to get as much discount as possible. I really have this sad notion na some people pa na are in the industry as well would be the first ones to ask for a discount. I had some I had some clients before who use their, like, how do you say it? Use their closeness with someone, no, to ask for discounts and all. Sometimes, of course, if you're really friends with someone, you want to help them out as well, no, it's fine. Sometimes I would do stuff for free as well, no, for the love. Ika nga nila. They use that term a lot. But if they always do that, no, for example, they always try to get the discount that they need or they want, it's not helping you at all, no. Sometimes people ask discounts for really really low rates na, no, but still pwede bang bawasan natin, or you know and it's kind of sad that it's still coming from the same people in the same industry that we are in, no? I mean, they should be the first ones to understand what you're doing, no? Especially for people who want transcriptions, like they feel na, oh, transcribe mo lang naman, but you know if you can do it, then do it. You're asking me to render a service for you. So, my rates, my rules, right? Something like that. If you can't pay that, sorry. Because again, if I'm going to transcribe something, for example, a song, it would take up my time. Now, I have a perceived value in my head. of how much time I would spend. Let's say it's an easy song. I would spend around 20-30 minutes on it. That 20-30 minutes, I could have been doing other things, right? I could have been teaching for a much higher rate. I could have been going to a gig for a much, much higher rate. Or I could be creating videos or creating content that would passively give me revenue. No? Or I could be creating a song that I could post on Spotify or on all any other music platform that would pay me as people stream it. Because there's a lot of things that's going on, especially if you're a freelancer, no? And if people don't understand that, it's really hard to educate them minsan. No? Sometimes you want to educate them, but sometimes people think that it's a little bit too parang mayabang yung dating when you do that. But that's the reality of it, 'di ba? Why would I spend like 30 minutes doing something that won't give me the value that I want? Why would I do that if I can do something else that has more value? No? So you have to understand. It's for me, it's really not personal when that happens. No, if clients are trying to get the lowest rate possible, I mean, I want to give you what you need, but if value, my value, my perceived value from you is lower than my expectations, why would I get it? No. You can always find someone else, maybe that will work out for you. But again, you're not just paying for the product, you're paying me for the process. Right? Right? That's why, I don't know, I have clients from abroad as well who pay generously, even tips. So why would I waste my time for people who almost, I feel like it's taking advantage of whatever you can offer. Because some people literally take advantage of, oh, ano na nga lang, 1.5 na nga lang. Tapos, pwede bang maki-discount? Pwede ba 1K na lang? Pero natapos mo na. So, something like that, no? Some people even do that. I don't know if you have experienced that as well on your end. But some people actually do it. So, it's just that you have to know where you stand. Know exactly how you have to be firm as well, but it's not disrespectful to say no to people, especially if they don't see your worth. uh, Not just in the music industry, I think in a lot of industries as well, other even in the corporate setting. So being able to really see, people could will see your work, people will see how well you do it, no? And there will be people who are willing to pay that price that you set, and that would be your market, that would be the relationship, or that would be the clients that you want, because those people understand where you're coming from, and those people are the ones who appreciate your work, no? So that's why, to be honest, I a lot of my transcription clients or arrangement clients come from abroad, because technically the service that we render are cheaper here, no, for them there. But the cheapest rate that you can give them is actually higher than the highest rate some people would pay you for. So that's something you could also think about, where your clients are from. Again, everyone's struggling right now. Maybe you can feel it, or because of the crisis that's happening, even you know French fries ka nauubos and all those things that's happening, that we are not in control of. So it's more and more and more important that you actually understand how much value you can give and how much value you should receive. All right. Because again, at the end of the day, they're not the ones who will suffer if you charge lower. You're the ones who would need to work harder because you accepted a gig that pays you less. Diba? So, of course, if it's not worth your time, you can always say no. It's not disrespectful, and it keeps you grounded and keeps you level headed in whatever you're trying to do. All right. So, again, price accordingly. Price according to your value. Price according to what you feel is your worth. And of course, price according to how much you really need. No? Because if you're charging a very small amount, but it still doesn't cover your expenses, then maybe you should consider up uh, adjusting your rates as well. Because again, inflation is the silent killer of value. And inflation right now is very, very high. You also have to adjust that. Even if you lose clients, even if will gather less. But again, if you charge more, you work less. That's something you should always try to see. Charging more, work less. Especially if you are a freelance artist who only earns while working. So you have to also take those things into consideration. All right. So again, thank you for tuning in to Usapang Musiko. This is episode 48. I think we could do a lot more. If you have any suggestions or comments, please do comment down below. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my Usapang Musiko blogs. I haven't been posting in a while, so maybe I will post soon. Check out Jellynote Play if you want to practice your skills with free, music sheets and all. Have fun playing around with other people as well. And of course, check out my course on Udemy. Check out my songs on Spotify and all major music platforms. And also, of course, the podcast, Usapang Musiko, is available on Anchor. It releases every Friday. Uh, I don't know until when, but yeah, it's a weekly thing right now. And as long as my schedule's free, I'll try to release more and more content for everyone to see. And follow me on my Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, also on TikTok. Thank you for all the people who are supporting on TikTok. And check me out. I offer a lot of services for musicians on Fiverr. If you need transcriptions, music arrangements for strings and piano or everything else, check it out. And of course, my music sheets are available on Sheet Music Plus. Check it out. Everything you need down in the description box below. Just click the link and you're good to go. This has been Ryan Monakil for Usapang Musiko, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.